by your own admission, saying that Chris Paul had more responsibilities. He was a better offensive player. He's a better passer and playmaker.
This is when it got nasty.
He's better.
No, I said he asked me more offensive responsibility. I said offensive responsibility. He did in a way. He did.
Okay, offensive responsibilities.
I disagree.
The offensive responsibilities, the passing and the playmaking, the defense. Who do you think is a better defender, KD or CP3?
No, that's overall. What the guy asked me was who had a higher offensive load.
No, I'm just asking you right now, who's a better defender, Chris Paul or KD at their best?
I'm gonna go slightly Chris Paul.
Okay. So Chris Paul has more responsibility. He's a better passer and playmaker. He's the better defender. So if somebody has more responsibility, that clarifies that they probably have more of an impact on their team. Correct?
No.
Who do you think is more impactful, Chris Paul or Kevin Durant?
KD.
Why?
Because KD, simply put, what KD does at his best, which is scoring, he does that more consistently and more at a way higher level than opposed to what Chris Paul does at what he does best, which is simply what he does best is playmaking and facilitating.
And score. I mean, he does score at a good level too.
Yeah, good level.
In the playoffs, and in the playoffs, it translates. So in my frame, I don't understand how CP3 is not over KD.
Does it translate better than KD's dub?
To you, it should be because KD drops.
No, it don't.
What?
What do you mean? What?
But it's hold on, yeah. If you're valuing the other aspects, not like the responsibility, you're valuing that, right? And then it increases. Doesn't the responsibility increase in the playoffs?
Yes. His scoring goes up.
Yeah,
his scoring goes up. His percentages stay same or goes up as well compared to KD. And I've heard the arguments with KD before. Oh, KD, he's this historic. He's this historic scorer in the regular season. But guess what happens in the postseason, especially on OKC? It drops. It doesn't translate.
I said it drops slightly, Dub. In comparison to Kawhi, like I said in the beginning,
Chris Paul, his scoring increases. His percentages is damn near the same or it increases. His passing and playmaking is still better than Kevin Durant. He's still the better defender. It doesn't make sense for me in your mind frame how Chris Paul is not better than KD.
I said it already, but I understand. I don't know why you don't understand.
Oh my God.
The reason why is because when you say something, but the reasons that you're given contradict certain parts of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because
your reason for having Kawhi over KD, it lines up with that means you should have CP3 over KD.
Right.
So why I said specifically, I said you can make a strong argument that Kawhi is better than KD. There's a difference between better and greater. I think y'all conflicting the two.
And you can make a good conversation for CP3 being better than Kevin Durant with this way of thinking.
No, you can't.
I just gave it to you. I literally.
But don't you think Chris Paul's better on both sides of the ball, or did I misunderstand?
You can be better on both sides of the ball and not be the better player.
Okay, please.
Wait, listen.
Is this football? Is there special teams in basketball?
I need that to be explained. I need that to be explained.
The guy who's a better two-way player on both sides of the ball, the guy who has more responsibility for his offense working the way it is, for some reason, I don't understand how he's not more impactful, not better at basketball.
No, Dub, that's fine. Sturdy. Two things I need, and I think everyone should just be quiet while you explain it. I need how you can be better on both sides of the ball and be worse. I need how that can happen, and B, I need an example of a player who's worse on both sides of the ball but better than someone else. I need an example of that.
Julius Randle.
That's it. If you can just explain that, because I don't understand, but if you explain that, I might be able to.
Simple. I'll use Dub example. Imagine Chris Paul. There's a lot of people. Chris Paul is the better two-way player, which quote unquote means he's the better on both sides of the ball. But we all know Magic is more impactful than Chris Paul. Magic has better playoff translation than Chris Paul. And what Magic does at his best, it not only translates in the playoffs and not only is proven in the regular season, but most importantly, his impact compared all time is up there. It's like top 5.
No, Magic is better offensively than Chris Paul, though. You said you can be better on offense and better on defense, like both of them. Not two-way
okay.
combined.
I misinterpreted. I thought you meant a two-way player. My fault.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, you said Chris Paul's a better offensive.
Yeah, you said Chris Paul's better.
No, I said he had a higher offensive load. That's why I did specifically. I said you can make an argument that he's a better offensive player all time. That's why I did.
You ranked CP3 over KD offensively.
I said you can make that argument, Dub.
No,
the
you
other
ranked
14 dudes I named, there was no argument. I think they're better offensive players.
Oh no. We can't do this. No, we can't do this.
I only said 14 names. I said one of those guys is arguable. The other 13, I stand on.
So wait, you said it's an argument between KD and Chris Paul.
But who do you think? Wait. Who do you think is better in your opinion offensively?
Forget about the arguments. Like forget about
the arguments. Who do you think is better? You ranked him over him. So
who's better? KD.
Offensively. KD.
Yes.
Okay. Who's better defensively?
Chris Paul slightly.
This just doesn't.
I'm answering your question, nigga. What you talking about?
this is just ridiculous. Bro.
All right, all right.
It's not the same as what other people how they do their criteria. I keep it simple.
It's just crazy. No, what's happening is simple. you realize the hole that you wrapped yourself in. So now you're changing up what you said 10 minutes ago because you definitely said CP3 because of his responsibilities on offense.
Yeah,
he's a better offensive player.
I repeated myself. I said you can make an argument he's a better offensive player all time.
No, you had him over. You had him over.
No, Duh, for the third time now. I named 14 people. Those other 13 names I stand on. Chris Paul is the only one. I'm like, all right, cool. You can debate that. That's why I said arguable.
Oh man. Go ahead.
Man.
Go ahead,
but what I don't get is I asked you for people over KD offensively because you said he was top 15, and then I said, can you name the 10 top 10 offensive people over KD?
I did.
You went on a list. And you said Chris Paul. If you don't think he's better offensively, why did you say his name?
Because Mars, they asked for 14 names. Chris Paul came after I named 11 people.
No,
at that point, I was like, "Fuck."
You said Chris Paul before. You said Chris Paul before Jerry West, before Oscar Robertson, before Larry Bird,
before Steph Curry,
before James Harden.
No, I said Ben said Steph Curry. I said
he said Curry. He's this.
You said Chris Paul after Steve Nash. That's when you said Chris Paul. You said LeBron.
Word.
LeBron, Kobe, MJ, LeBron, Kobe, MJ, Magic, Kareem, Shaq, Curry, Nash.
What's wrong with Shaq?
Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, Larry Bird, and then afterwards I asked you about James Harden, and you said James Harden.
And
you said
we're gonna talk about early basketball. Go, my fault. Go ahead.
You said Chris Paul in the middle. My question is, why would you say him if you don't think he's better offensively?
Yeah, if you don't believe in it, if you don't wholeheartedly believe in it, you're just making an argument for what?
No. I mean, Mars, it's just like you say when you have one player right behind the other. And that's why I said argument. If you want to switch him up, that's okay. But I said that close offensively all the time. If you want to put Chris Paul number 14 and KD number 15, that's fine. If y'all think he's above him, I think he needs to be one slot above him. That's it. That's what I meant by arguable. Those other guys, though, the other 13 guys, they're better off.
Oh, so you have okay, gotcha. Oh, okay. So it's between 14 and 15 was fluid. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, those two are the only guys that I generally say that's fluid. I heard great arguments for both. That's why I said it's arguable. But those other 13, nah, those other 13 is better offensively than KD all the time.
Okay, I understand. It was just it was a bit confusing to me. I'm not saying it's crazy to say Chris Paul's better offensively than KD. Like that's not the argument I'm making. I just wanted to clarify why you said his name. But now I understand. But yeah,
because no. I'm gonna say what it sounded like. It sounded like you have strict criterias, but then when we were using the criterias and the same logic, it fluctuates. So that's why people was trying to gauge what are you valuing? What are your percentages valuing?
Because the thing I value is production and impact. In the game of basketball, you can have there's multitude of ways for you to produce that. So it's not gonna be cookie cutter. Like Bill Russell.
You're right. That's a fact.
He can't score for shit. But what he did best is all time is up there for his errors up there, and most importantly, he maintained that consistently in the playoffs. That's how I do production impact. That's my number one criteria when it comes to ranking these players all time.